This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff, plus Alex.
That's me.
And Nate with
That's
Sam.
Let's go. Let's freaking go.
Here we are. Today's Tuesday, January 17th, and Alex has some exciting news from Pittsburgh.
I do. Yes, who's back again? Andrew McCutchen is back in the Berg. This gives us exactly one thing to look forward to this baseball season as Pirates fans. Raise the Jolly Roger.
They'll trade him again.
Oh, he only signed a 1-year contract. I'm not debating that. I'm just
This is such a Pittsburgh thing to do, though, right?
I have to hold on to the small hopes that it gives me. I might wear I have a Pittsburgh Pirates hat. I might start wearing it again.
This is way too early. Way too early.
I know, but I'm going to celebrate it early before it inevitably lets me down. So, do you know what I mean? I know as a Pittsburgh Pirates fan, my heart is going to be crushed year after year. But when moments like this happen, it gives me that brief glimmer of hope.
Okay. Nate, did you have anything to do with this?
No, I did not. I'm on the same page as Alex. I'm excited as a fan just to be able to see him come back for a swan song, basically. But I don't know. We'll see how the summer goes. I don't have my hopes high whatsoever, but curious to see what they do down the road, if anything, for them.
I bet their home opener is sold out.
I don't know about sold out because we were looking at it at work, and it's on a Friday. Yeah, it's like a Friday 4:00 game.
It usually is weak during the day.
A home opener doesn't. It depends on if it's the first game of the year or not.
No, it is not.
Yeah.
I think they have 2 away series before they're at home.
Okay. Well, we will see. We will see. Anything else on the Pirates? Nope.
No,
that's the only thing we have to look forward to.
That was it. That was all we had.
Okay. All right, loyal listeners, it's your time. Get in there, do the things, share all of what we do throughout the year. Make sure everyone else knows what's going on. Tell a friend, make a friend. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Turn on the bell, as Jim says. Do all the things. Keep us going up to the moon. Up, and away. T's and P's to the friends and family of Georgia offensive lineman Devin Willock and 24-year-old recruiting staffer Chandler LaCroix, who were unfortunately killed in a car accident early Sunday morning.
Wild. And then there was 2 guys that also in the car who were recovering from injuries.
Yes.
It's a crazy scenario.
Yes. It was the same day where they had their celebration parade.
Yeah.
Their victory parade, whatever we want to call that. So it's definitely terrible news coming out of Georgia. But hopefully the other 2 remaining in the vehicle will recover. I know one, I think, was listed in serious condition, and the other one was in stable condition, but with no serious injuries, if I remember correctly. So, as has been the case, YouTube following, please make your way into it. Keep the train rolling. Check out everything over the past couple of weeks, including the Columbus episode, the Hot Sauce Challenge, which just came out on Monday, and any other small clips that we have going on. Remember to subscribe, rate, comment, review. Anything else? Good.
Tickle, poke, lick,
Get the bell on.
hug.
There we go. Get over to YouTube, and you can also follow us on @SportsJimMuff on Instagram and Twitter. Pittsburgh Penguins update, Alex.
The Pittsburgh Hockey Penguins are 25-15-6, sitting at 6th place in the Metropolitan Division. They're 13 points behind the Hurricanes in first place, and at this point, we are 3rd in the wild card race. So the top 2 in the wild card race make the playoffs. We are 1 point behind the New York Islanders and 4 points behind the Washington Capitals. Jim's team,
The Kraken.
one of 3, the Kraken, swept a 7-game road trip and became the first team in NHL history to do so, and are on an 8-game winning streak.
1 of 3. It's okay to like 3 teams. It's hockey.
It's okay to like one of 3 teams, but not to be fans of 3 teams. I think that's what's contradictory.
So I don't know if I'm fans of the Golden Knights.
I was going to say, if you're going to get rid of one,
I think I'm going to get rid of the Golden Knights. I'm just not Just not feeling them.
You'll be a casual supporter, but we don't count that as one of your teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What made you a fan in the first place? I'm trying to
They
go
were
back.
new, and it's Vegas, and I
And
like
now
when
the
Vegas has
Kraken's
teams.
new.
I like when Vegas has teams, but then the Raiders went to Vegas. So I don't really like Vegas in general.
Okay.
As like a principle. But I was reading something as we were starting the show. Vegas Golden Knights goaltender Robin Lanier and his
Leonard.
wife of Leonard, thank you. I was trying to be hockey, Leonard will work.
He assumed it was going to be French.
Right.
Linear.
They filed for bankruptcy in Nevada, citing $50 million in debts to dozens of creditors. And I was like, well, bankruptcy happens, Turns out he hasn't paid $4 million to a business loan that he had. And I was like, well, that happens. Apparently he and his father are into like a solar business, All right, probably his dad might have gotten him into a bum deal. Whatever. Not digging into this much further than that. We got a show to start. But then I looked and I was going like, oh, I'm gonna let this go. Leonard's debts also include missed payments for a collection of rare snakes he purchased for $1.2 million. He keeps the snakes at his reptile farm in Missouri. I want to say at this point he's playing with big boy money and doing stupid kid stuff.
I think it's safe to say that if that's what you're doing, not that you necessarily you're doing that with your money, but you're doing it with that much of your money.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm buying 1.2 million, like, let me just say for the record on the show, I give you permission, the three of you. If you find out I bought $1.2 million worth of snakes, you can come kick my ass.
Good to know. I think he bought one snake.
Unreal.
I would probably never come near you again. But
What type
of snakes too?
What animal would you purchase, or what group of animals, or what type of animal would you even be able to let yourself spend $1 million on?
I don't know that I could. If I was doing a side business like a puppy business, like I was breeding puppies, like these bulldogs, like my bulldog puppies could go for like $4,000 a piece. So like if I was starting that side hustle in the off season, maybe. But I don't know I could spend that much money on them. That's insane.
$1 million on bulldogs.
Yeah. That's a lot of bulldogs.
It's a very large initial investment.
Right. And the snakes aren't worth that. No.
They are worth that much, apparently.
Apparently. How many snakes do you get with 1.2 million?
Depends
They're
on how
rare.
exotic and rare, I guess.
I'd buy a gorilla. I take that back. A gorilla I would buy.
Can you buy?
If I was single, no responsibilities, like Mike Tyson in the beginning, like when he bought a tiger, I would buy a gorilla.
Would you would then have, Jim and his gorilla, Joe Exotic. It would be Jim Jungle.
Yep.
Jim's Jungle.
Jim's
Jim of the
Jungle.
Jungle.
Yep. There it is.
Jim of the Jungle. Watch out for that tree.
Hey. All right. Now that we know that Jim would buy a gorilla, let's get into the show. Our opinions aren't too tough, rough, or gruff. We are proof that you don't have to be an expert to have an opinion. So just
shut up and sit down.
This is Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. And start with NFL Super Wildcard Weekend.
Super duper.
Nate, the sound effect has no effect if you don't jump in. You're just a silent guy there.
For Wildcard Weekend.
Thank you, Sam.
You're
Thank
welcome.
I like how he didn't even move. Like Nate's like, that's fine.
People are gonna think he's froze.
I'm not gonna make that noise.
I mean, he did every time they said it on TV this weekend. He said it.
So he just doesn't do it for the show.
Doesn't do any good today.
He's shy on the camera.
Well, my team's playing right now.
Oh, and his Buccaneers.
That's true. That's true. I'll give it to you.
As we're recording on Monday night. Monday night recording, not Sunday. Which I guess hopefully everyone was able to do some remembering, pondering, and thoughtful reflection on the reason for the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day, since we're recording on that day.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
In Super Wildcard Weekend, it would be hilarious.
Super.
One day, one episode, if we could have Nate's mouth moving while Sam was talking the entire episode.
Like my voice on his
Right.
ball.
Yeah.
Right.
Totally what they just said.
That's hilarious.
That would be worth it. That would be worth it.
I agree.
In Super Wildcard Weekend, first in Saturday games, we had the Seahawks taking on the 49ers. San Francisco dominated in the second half to coast to a 41-23 victory against the Seahawks, who were led by Geno Smith. And the 49ers obviously moved forward in the NFC playoff bracket. Brock Purdy looked great with 3 passing touchdowns.
Damn good.
No interceptions, 332
Damn
yards passing, while adding a touchdown on the ground. Geno Smith went 25-35 for 253, 2 touchdowns, an interception in the loss. Are these two respective quarterbacks the quarterbacks of the future in their respective cities?
Yeah, I think so.
For next year, yes. Do you put Jimmy G back in healthy, or do you keep rolling with Brock Purdy?
Give me
His
Purdy.
name is Dougie G. Please call
Sorry,
him by
Dougie
Robert.
G or Brock Purdy.
Well, you have a whole other situation, Alex. What about Trey Lance?
Trey Lance, you're right. I forget about him because it was out so early.
I would keep Dougie G. I would trade Trey Lance, and I'd ride or die with Brock Purdy.
I agree with Jim, to be honest, and that doesn't happen often.
Brock Purdy.
I don't think there's
Wow.
any reason to trade Trey Lance because he's on a rookie deal. What are you going to get for him at this point?
Well, so is Brock Purdy too. I mean, you keep hearing about. I mean, we'll get into the Chargers in a little bit, but how many times you keep hearing about them saying, "Oh, you got to win now with Herbert on his rookie deal." I mean, I think the same thing with the Niners. You got to win now with these two guys on the rookie deal.
Ugh.
Right. And that's why I think there's no reason to trade Trey Lance if you think he can be a potential starter, at least a very viable backup, when you can get rid of Jimmy G, who doesn't make a huge salary.
Trey Lance, what, on year 1, year 2? Year 2.
Year 2.
Mm-hmm.
And what, rookie deal's 4?
3 to 5. If I remember correctly.
Yeah, you don't.
I keep it.
Haven't seen enough from Lance to know if
You're
he's
right.
the guy or not.
Jimmy G's gone then.
Yeah, I get rid of Jimmy G from them.
Yeah.
He was on a 1-year deal anyway, if I remember correctly. Yeah.
Yeah, goodbye.
So,
You're the weakest link.
what about Geno Smith?
I think
Seattle?
yes. Who?
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he did enough this year.
He definitely did enough to be the starter next year.
Yes.
How long was he in year 9 of his NFL career?
Yeah,
Somewhere in
that's.
that
I mean, I
range?
don't know how long, but I think he is the quarterback for the Seahawks until further notice.
Yeah,
You
it's
need to
his job
sign
to lose.
somebody.
Yeah,
I don't know. No matter who you sign or even if you draft someone, it's his spot to lose.
yeah.
He's the kind of guy, though, that he takes a hit and it's a career ender. He falls down a path and he can't come back from. You need somebody behind him.
Yeah, but
But until then, he's running the ship.
yes.
How smart do the Seahawks look right now for everything that they got from this season compared to what the Broncos got?
I agree. I think the management looks good. I think the deal looks good. But what about Pete Carroll? I was watching that game thinking, Pete Carroll caught a lot of shit in different places and different times in his career, but that guy can coach.
I love that. I watched the Pete Carroll mic'd up thing when DK Metcalf jumped on the field goal post the other day. And I mean, I think it's an old mic'd up, but I watched that up the other day. And he jumps on the field goal post or whatever. And apparently you're not allowed to use like anything like that as a prop. So he got a flag. And DK's like, oh, I thought you just could dunk it. Like, I didn't know if I jumped on the post, like that was going to be flagged. And he's like, that's my bad. I should have taught you better than that. And just like walks away. I'm like, that's a good guy.
Like Pete Carroll is the player's coach, and he gets the best out of his players, and that's what you want out of a
Yeah, he was literally like, all right, man, I get it. My bad. He's like, I should have taught you that. And just walks away. Like, it wasn't like condescending or serious. He's just like, my fault.
Yeah.
Did you see the clip when they were doing a short in the facility and it was Pete Carroll like driving by on a scooter like it was nothing.
No.
Anybody see that?
No.
Look that up. It was pretty funny. It was just like part of like an in facility, like
Yeah.
pan around, and it was like there goes Pete Carroll just popping by in a scooter like it's an everyday thing. Nobody even like just doing his thing in the facility. Next in Saturday football, we have the Chargers taking on the Jaguars in Duval.
All right, I'm gonna take over.
I
Take
figured-
over.
Is this
Okay.
the narrative you're trying to spin, or
Nope, I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna give you exactly what happened.
Okay.
The Chargers defense looked fantastic for one half of football. Okay. The coach for the Jaguars, Peterson,
Correct.
that's his
Yeah.
name?
Doug Peterson. Yeah.
Stuck to his game plan, kept everything chill, got Trevor Lawrence and said, just calm the hell down. These are the Chargers we're playing. They're going to fuck this up. And what did the Chargers do? Came out, got outscored 28-3 in the next half, 30-3 in the next half, something like that. Ungodly. Stupid. And then Staley did not adjust at all. He is the worst coach. He should be fired. And kudos to Trevor Lawrence. 4 interceptions, and he still comes back and wins the game.
Did you see his interview? He says, "Yeah, I wasn't setting any great records in the first half."
Oh no, did you see the meme that he shared?
Yes.
High school
Oh.
players like, they had us in the first half. I ain't
I'm not gonna lie. I loved that.
The Chargers Charger, Jim.
Hell yeah, they did.
Obviously, we know your thoughts on the coaching situation.
Fire it.
How much? Who was more at fault in the second half? The defense or the offense of the Chargers?
Joey Bosa is a fucking moron. Can't keep his damn mouth shut.
I was just gonna ask what your opinion on that was, but
Can't
okay.
keep his damn mouth shut. Can't keep his rage off the field.
Gone.
He thinks he's like Don Magic One out there with his flowing hair. Like, what are you doing?
Jim,
But
I wish
also-
I could find the stat, but I can't find it now. Just on what the percentage of run plays was in the second half. It was like only 8 rush attempts the whole second half. You're up 4 scores, shorten the game.
Thank you. And then I want to know Eckler's receiving. Like, how much did he have in receiving?
1 second.
Because why are you interested in this, Jim?
Because that's what he was like, one of our third, fourth receivers, and we didn't bring Mike Williams to the game this game.
Austin Eckler 2 catches 8 yards.
What the announcer said at the start of the game, we got to watch Eckler. He is a receiver.
And only
he's good at running.
13 carries for 35 yards.
Best player on the team offensively besides the quarterback. I know, let's not use him.
Needless to say,
It
Jim
sucks to be a Chargers fan.
does it.
Yes,
You made the playoffs.
that's true.
You did. You at least got to the dance.
That's true. But I don't think the wild card should count as super wild card weekend. What do you call it? I don't think it counts anymore for the Chargers because this is where they always go out.
Can't make it out of round 1, whatever round that may be.
It's just
So-
bonus week for you to make yourself look silly.
Is it Staley for you? Was this a continuation of last week? Whenever he played his starters and one of them was hurt out for the season, pretty much.
The problem with how he coaches, right, is when stupidity pays off, he looks like a damn genius. When stupidity, it's just a stupidity. It's all or nothing with this guy.
Well, that's the thing is, I don't think there's anything in the second half that would lead me to believe that he was being dumb. He didn't do any of his normal dumb things in the second half.
He didn't go to his people that he should have went to.
He wasn't going for it on 4th down. He wasn't doing those dumb things. They just could not move the ball. And I don't even think he made any bonehead coaching moves aside from Joey Bosa had that gaff,
That was so stupid.
which was dumb. But
So stupid.
yeah, he could have inserted himself and said, run the ball 3 times. I don't care if it's 3rd and 25, run the ball again. Like he could have done that, but it's not like he made any bonehead coaching moves.
At some point, when you're letting a team outscore you 30-3, you have to change up what's going on.
Yeah,
At
I think
some
he
point.
might end up with Cliff Kingsbury this offseason.
And Thailand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More to
Something
come on.
has to give.
So, Staley going to stick around?
I hope to God not. But it's the Chargers. He may. We
Oh,
might
now
trade off.
Sean Payton?
We might trade off the quarterback.
Sean
What's
Payton.
his name? Herbert, Sherbert.
Sherbert.
You have a problem with him?
No, but I will trade him. I don't get attached to quarterbacks. We had Drew Brees, remember?
Yeah, you did for a bit. So it'll be interesting. I think Staley's another one of those that has some money tied up though. So we'll see where that ends up. Anything else on that game?
Sadness.
That was
Next.
for the most part it. Yep.
That was for the most part. Yeah, that's good. Next, in Sunday games, we have the Dolphins taking on the Bills. This game did look a little scary for the Bills.
Yeah.
For much of the latter parts of the first half and second half.
Yeah, all the way to the end of
Yeah.
the third quarter.
It was very much too close for comfort, but ultimately Josh Allen and Bills Mafia were able to survive in advance, which is the theme of the tournament, survive in advance. So the Bills win. Bills win.
Can we
Bills
talk about
win.
Josh Allen? I feel like I brought this up before. Josh Allen is an amazing player. I'm not going to take anything away from the guy. But this year, he just seems off. I said it before, and we'll have to go through what episode I said it. He's not getting the ball as much to Diggs. He's having some fumble-rooski issues. He seems off during some games. And I don't know what that is. Are they just keying in on him more?
Yeah, I don't get that. I was going to say, I don't get that vibe. I get the vibe that like certain things that he did before they realized how good it was are
And
getting.
then they're just compensating for it.
Yeah.
Okay. But he's had a lot of fumbles.
Well, that and watching the Bills, they always seem like they're trying to make the big splash play.
I agree with that too.
Like, how many times this year have you heard him say, "Oh yeah, I can't make that mistake. Can't just throw the ball down the field and hope someone goes and catches it."
Yep.
That's fair.
I think it's tough to say that Diggs isn't involved when he had over 100 yards receiving, though.
I'm just talking about throughout the year. He was on my fantasy team. I'll keep him again because we have a keeper league. He did not have the same production as he did last year. And they're not getting him as involved as they did last year. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, he had a breakout season last year, too. As far as like going off.
But people, and after that, then they start keying in on what you were doing last season.
And that's what I asked. Is it we're just adjusting to those two, and that's why we're having the struggle, a little bit more struggle?
I lean more towards that than I do that
Okay.
he's having a down year. Personally.
I think the fumble problem is a problem, though.
Yeah, I will agree. He's fumbled, but he also runs more than other quarterbacks.
That's true.
There was some discussion afterwards that Mike McDaniel may have been hitting a vape on the field.
I don't think he was.
I saw the clip.
I think he was just like
blowing into his hands.
Yeah. Like,
if he was, though, kudos to him.
Right. Well, here's an interesting thing. I don't think I've ever heard anybody ever make a big deal about if somebody's got a big old chaw in on the sideline of a football game, right? In fact, I think there are many coaches that are doing that during games. Mike Vrabel is one. I think it's just understood that he's always got one in. Nobody says anything about it, but as soon as somebody maybe hits a vape on the field, then we're like, oh my God, how could somebody do that? Like, you can't smoke cigarettes.
What's the difference?
That's what I'm saying. I don't understand what the big difference is. I think the only reason people are making a big deal about that this is even possible is because, one, they lost, and two, they had 3 or 4 different occasions throughout the game where they were late getting plays onto the field and they were rushing, and then people were like, "Oh, he was too worried about taking his vape pen."
1 second.
It takes 2 seconds to vape pen.
It's
2 seconds that they almost didn't get the playoff, Alex.
A lot of times they get the playoff and they're on their third string quarterback. I don't think that's the vape pen is the issue for the lateness.
Oh,
what
so there
I
was
heard
Jim.
today,
Jim just assumed there was a vape pen. Good.
I really do not think there was a vape pen.
I think the issue is the substance inside of the vape pen is what's being called into question.
Yeah, because you listen to Mike McDaniels do any interview, and you're wondering how in the world is this?
Thank you, Nate. I think is this man hitting the wacky tobacco?
If he is that sneaky to do it in the middle of the game, kudos.
He's a very chill individual, is all I'm gonna say.
He lives in Miami.
Well, yeah, okay.
He's just living his best life, man.
There's a lot of other ways to get that into your system that have to do a vape in the middle of the game.
Yeah, that's what I don't think he hit a vape either, but I think that's the concern is, did this man hit a one-hitter?
Maybe at halftime.
Just do an edible.
A slow releasing edible that he can put in his jaw, and then nobody will ever question him because they think it's a wad of tobacco.
Right.
Perfect.
That's
Mike McDaniel, if you're listening, that's how you get away with it, buddy.
Get a
we're just trying to
brownies on the
help.
bench. Don't touch Mike's brownies.
Don't touch. It's like Teddy KGB.
Unless you're Tyreek Hill, you can have some of that.
It's like Teddy KGB and Rounders. Don't touch the cookies. But in other Sunday games, we have the Giants taking on the Vikings. Skull. Kirk Cousins shows us yet again that he's not necessarily up for the big game, and Justin Jefferson is not a force to be reckoned with, while Brian Dable,
You
Daniel
shut your
Jones,
mouth.
Saquon Barkley, and the New York Football Giants continue the great season en route to a 34-24 win.
Justin Jefferson is a force to be reckoned with.
In general, yes. In this game, no.
Thank you. Okay.
Let's think about this. The past, 2 or 3 games, he has had subpar games.
That is true.
Who's getting him the ball?
Kirk Cousins, who does not have a terrible stat line. Justin Jefferson was not getting the rock.
Somebody's got to get him the rock. I'm not gonna besmirch the man, Justin Jefferson.
I'm just saying, you guys show up in big time games. Justin Jefferson
It's
and Kirk,
2 to tango in that
Cousins
situation. Thank you.
Well, I think you got to get kudos to the Giants. They took him away, but then look at T.J. Hawkinson, 10 catches for 130.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Kirk Cousins. I think the Vikings defense was the largest issue in this game for the Vikings.
Oh my god!
Now people are going to point to the last play of the game, the last play for the Vikings of the game, where Kirk Cousins did a check down on 4th and 8. Like, yes, that's a bonehead move, but let's not forget what the defense did or did not do.
I think this game all comes down to what the Giants were doing and less about the Vikings. The Giants were just a better damn team, in my opinion.
Yeah, watching that game, I didn't watch very much of it, but I agree with Jim. The Giants definitely looked like the better team. But back to that 4th down play, it's like, yeah, it's a check down, but it's 4th down. The game is on the line. Who's calling the play with the guys running short of the line to gain anyway?
Right? Yes, this is the never-ending question. Why is that even an option?
Like, yeah, you have to have a hot route and whatever, but again, the game is on the line. It's like, it's man-to-man coverage, and yeah, that guy's in the NFL for a reason too. He's not going to miss too many one-on-one tackles.
Yeah, especially with a tight end who's coming back to the football, right, or running an out. It's not like he's running a screen at full speed or something like that, right? He's running an out route, which he then has to turn upfield. But what do we think about Daniel Jones and what he was able to do in this game? Like, showed out. And Daniel Jones is quietly, I'm not saying he's an elite quarterback, but is probably quietly becoming a very serviceable quarterback.
I was just going to say very serviceable
in this system.
Yeah, he's doing more with less. That's for damn sure. I mean, outside of Saquon, his receivers aren't the greatest. I mean, you think of top name receivers. I'm not thinking Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, Richie James, Daniel Bellinger, Lawrence Cadger, whatever. I haven't heard of any of these dudes other than Slayton.
Right. Remember, the Giants last year, the past 2 years, have had like one of the highest paid receiving corps in the league. And I think every one of those names that Nate just mentioned is not one of those highest paid receivers.
Yeah, the only one I can think of and hasn't done jack shit since he's been there was the dude. I just lost it. The guy from Detroit,
Kenny Galladay or Galladay.
Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think they finally said, "Well, we don't care how much money we're paying you. We're moving on because you stink." But
You is poo poo.
who is Poo Poo? With Kirk Cousins, is it time for the Vikings to consider moving on from Kirk Cousins in order to potentially take the next step as a franchise?
Just based on the game that we just saw, no. But
Also, where they'll fall in the draft,
yeah, and
where
what's
everything
the
will shake out salary wise.
yes. And what's the future look like? Like he's not getting younger.
So is that the definitive answer from anybody? Or
I don't have a definitive answer.
It's
No,
saying
you're
that
not-
not. I don't say because of this game that that this game doesn't really have any bearings, and I don't necessarily think next year they need a new guy, but I think they should start eyeing people. Like if
Yeah.
they can get a good deal on a quarterback, I think they should.
I mean, what's Aaron Rodgers doing?
Nobody knows.
Let's pick
Ayahuasca.
him up.
Butt stuff. I meant like the oil. Sorry, that came out wrong.
Ravens,
Alex.
Bengals.
Alex just brings us into a new game.
No, you know what I meant, like the oil stuff he was doing.
Alex.
If you're explaining, you're losing. Keep moving.
Bingo. Ravens at Bengals. Tyler Huntley gets a start for the Ravens as Lamar continues to be out of the game, recovering from his injury, and gets the Ravens to a position to take the lead in the fourth quarter until he tries to go over the top like Sylvester Stallone in the 80s movie from too far away and gets the ball knocked away, recovered by Sam Hubbard, who bubbles.
Recovered by who?
Sam Hubbard.
Some D lineman.
From where? The
Cincinnati.
Ohio State University.
I don't think him going to High State had anything to do with this play.
I just want to make sure that it's said to Alex. That's all I care about.
How did
Yeah, I wanna know what Jim thinks
Bosa
about
do
it.
for you?
No,
How did
wanna know what
Bosa
Jim
do for
thinks
you?
about the Ohio State running back throwing shade on his teammate?
Yeah, we'll get to that here in a second.
We'll get to
Yeah,
that.
you got the good and the bad of Ohio State in this game, Jim. Just remember this. 98 yards for a touchdown and a 14-point swing that ends up being the game. The Bengals win 24-17. Before we get into J.K. Dobbins, let's talk real quick about Lamar Jackson. Lamar did not play in this game.
Had a nice long tweet. Was it a tweet or Instagram post? Explaining why he's not playing.
Correct.
He caught a lot of shit about that.
Well, RG3 came out in support.
Okay. Congratulations.
Well, Jim, what was the tweet? Explain to us. So that
It
we
was
can-
basically like a very much a health report. This is the situation with my knee. It's unstable. This is what's going on. That I don't think he owed anybody, first of all.
Mhm.
And then for RG3 to comment, okay, that's great, but like,
All right, so here's his Instagram post in two parts. Thank you, everyone. For your, 4 days ago. Thank you, everyone, for your support and concerns regarding my injuries. I wanted to give you all an update as I am in the recovery process. I suffered a PCL grade 2 sprain on the borderline of a strain 3. There is still inflammation surrounding my knee and my knee. That's part 1. And he says, oh, sorry. Surrounding my knee and my knee remains unstable. I'm still in good spirits as I continue with treatment on the road to recovery. I wish I could be out there with my guys more than anything, but I can't give 100% of myself to my guys and fans. I'm still hopeful we still have a chance.
Why was he catching shit for that?
Because there was no need for him to give a medical update from his personal Instagram. There was no need for that.
Why?
I think strategically, the Bengals needed to guess that he was still coming out there. That was out there before the game even kicked off.
Oh, I thought this was like a post game thing. Like, why do we
No.
care so much?
No, he
That was
posted that
before.
4 days ago.
Before the game. So the Bengals knew, all right, we don't have to worry about him. Second of all, like, why now? Why then? Were you feeling the heat from somebody? And then there's assholes, and I'm gonna come now. I'll come to Lamar's defense. There's assholes that I heard on ESPN that said, "Your health be damned. You're supposed to be here for your team."
No,
And I think Sean Payton on Fox even said that.
that's stupid.
That
Well,
was dumb.
That's where the RG3 comment came in, because he further injured himself trying to be there for his team, even though he was not fully recovered. And that ultimately helped end his career. And he was supporting Lamar and being like, if you're not 100%, do not go out there if you think there's a possibility for you to further injure yourself or limit the amount of time you can play in the league.
Well, I was going to say you'll never be there for your team if you hurt yourself that early on.
Right.
I just think RG3, you've never been in this scenario when you're in the playoffs to say that. 2, Lamar, you shouldn't have said anything because you knew you were going to catch shit from either side.
I believe that the comment was a playoff situation with RG3, Jim.
Was he hurt and sat out the playoffs?
No,
RG3
he
No,
played
he went and played.
in the
That's it.
playoffs.
and
He
he
had a Gumby knee.
right.
Oh yeah, okay, my fault, my bad.
This
I
is-
take it back.
This
Did
is
you
where
see his
that
post whenever there was like a bad snap? He went down to pick up the ball and his knee just went nope.
Oh yeah, ooh, now I want to vomit. Thanks, Nate. My whole thing is I don't think he needed to say that. I think that was dumb.
Just because you think it gave away tips to the.
I don't think he owes anybody anything. I think it did give kind of Cincinnati an edge, like to stress less. And I think that like he's justifying himself because people are asking him questions. And to hell with people asking questions. You don't want to play, don't play.
Any thoughts on Lamar? So obviously this is a very close game. Do we think that this game being close was a function of an in-division rival playing?
Say that 3 times fast.
Right, I tried to say it once and I couldn't do it. Playing a great game against each other, or is this something that the Bengals should be concerned that they weren't able to put up a better winning effort against a second-string Ravens quarterback who was also somewhat hurt?
They struggled. They struggled last time. I mean, they lost to the Ravens and they beat the Ravens, and then they had this close game. I think they're just in-division rivals that know each other. They know each other's system. It's harder to beat someone multiple times than it is to beat them once.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, that and they were playing each other on the same field back-to-back weeks.
Yeah. Like
So
that's
it's like, how much of a game plan can you really change that you didn't show last week? It's not like you're going to come in with a completely different package.
Bingo.
Yeah.
I'm in agreement with you all. Now, J.K. Dobbins. From where, Jim?
The Ohio State University.
Oh, say it with a little bit more pep in your step now, huh?
I mean, I think I agree with his statement, so keep going.
Comments after the game that Tyler Huntley should have never been put in the situation that he was in. Oh, and that also that Lamar would have won the game for the Ravens.
That's you can't say that shit.
I think you're paraphrasing that down and not like
Oh, please, Jim, read the.
I was gonna say then give us the full.
in context. They're
Oh
talking
no,
about
I
that
need
sneak.
I don't need a context. I
They're
need the
talking
quote.
about that sneak, Muff.
I need the quote, Jim.
You can quote it all you want, but they were
No,
talking about that.
I want you to quote it since you're.
Okay, Muff. You're
concerned
being
about
very much a large.
What's the quote? Read the direct quote.
I will find the quote.
So as Jim's finding this direct quote, what are we reading into here about the J.K. Dobbins tweet regarding that Huntley should have never been put in that situation?
I think that part of it was a stab at Lamar for not playing. And I think it was a stab at Huntley inadvertently whenever he says basically Lamar would have won it for us.
Right. I think the first part was more of a rip at the organization, not the organization, of the offensive coordinator and maybe of Harbaugh, that why are we giving it to Tyler Huntley when I've been having a good game? Why don't we give me the rock to try to rush it in? This wasn't a reach over the pile touchdown, right? They had to actually elevate and make progress towards the end zone to get there.
I wasn't thinking about that as a play.
You ready for me to do the quote?
Yes.
Yes, Jim.
He said, in context, he was talking about Lamar.
Did he say he said the words in context?
Here we go.
You have to quote it, Jim. You don't have to give
I'm
us
going to
what
quote
you
it,
think
but
is
I
the
want to make sure that
context.
Cite your sources,
about-
Jim.
Yeah, in
ESPN.
context, did you talk to J.K.
Don't talk
Dobbins?
to me about citing sources.
I'm
Nate.
gonna throw shit. He's
Did you-
okay.
You can't tell
Baltimore.
us what he's talking about. You weren't there.
I don't think he was really healthy enough to go out there, Humphrey said of Jackson. There was a lot of speculation with him not having the contract. I don't even know if I should say this, but he was limping around the facility. That's the kind of crazy thing that people don't see. Obviously, we knew he wasn't going to be out there, but hopefully we signed him to a big term deal, and he's a Raven with me forever. If we had Lamar, we would have won too.
I feel like you've missed a quote here.
Yeah, because it fits your narrative.
No, I think you've missed part of the quote here. I think this has been already.
So Jim, what is it with these Ohio State sore losers like Bosa and Dobbins?
Where is he a sore loser at?
Oh well,
He's
we would have
literally-
We would have won if.
He's literally saying, I get the guy is hurt. He's limping everywhere. Had he been healthy, we would have won.
Yeah, he's a sore loser. Oh, thought we had our quarterback, man.
I love when Nate does this.
Hey, there's a lot
I
of
live
times
for
I
this.
agree with you. You and
I
I
was like,
think we're on the same page. But in this situation, I think you're off base here.
No, I'm with Nate.
Of course you are.
I still feel like there was a post game quote. I think that's the quote that I'm referencing. That you.
I just read you the post game quote.
I think you. That was the post game quote.
Yes.
I think there was another.
I don't know about that.
Okay. You guys asked me to do something, I do it. It doesn't fit your narrative, and now you're pissed.
No, I feel like
That's
there. Were,
fine.
I feel like there were multiple quotes here. I think that's the problem. I think he's
Sure,
talking
I can
too
give
much.
you. I gave you the context of what he said, and in
Wait, you
terms
didn't
of
quote it?
that,
You didn't quote it?
that was the exact.
We didn't
quote.
want the context. We wanted the
Do you want
quote.
the quote?
So here's
of the-
another
the
quote
other
that I
quote?
saw, Jim, that said, "I should be the guy. I'm tired of holding that back. I should
Yep.
have been the guy.
This
I
is the
didn't
one.
get a single carry in the red zone. If we had
Yep.
Lamar, we would have won."
Yes,
You
Jim.
can't
That
mix
was the
them
quote.
in.
That
I
was
can
the
chop
quote.
them up. That was not the quote.
This is
That's
coming from
taking a chunk
Ravens
of one
Nation
quote.
Live.
Jim,
It's
that
taking
was.
a chunk of one quote and
No,
shoving
no.
it into this quote.
I think that was
So,
a.
Ravens Nation Live says, quote, "I should have been the guy. I didn't get a single carry in the red zone. If we had Lamar, we would have won." End quote.
That was
Okay.
it. That was the quote I'm talking about.
And
Jim.
on ESPN, what I just read, he said
So it's-
all of that about being the guy, being the red zone, and then they ask him about Lamar, and then he says his other bit.
So what I'm hearing is there were two different quotes.
Or it's fitting a narrative that you guys want to fit.
How is a quote, a direct quote, fitting a
Alex,
narrative?
Alex,
Nate is reading a direct quote, Jim.
it's where you put the words. I could say
The words are the words.
I went to the moon.
Jim, that wasn't a chopped quote that Nate just read. That was two
That was
sentences.
the words out of his
succession
mouth. What
were
else did
quoted.
that mean?
It was two.
What did
chops.
Nate's words mean?
Jim, what Nate read was not a chopped quote.
Okay, guys.
You read pregame.
Exactly what the quote was.
Did you?
Whoa,
It sounded
how
like
are they
yours was
that
chopped up.
different?
Because they were talking about Lamar, and
Okay.
then they were talking. The question was about the performance in the red zone.
But regardless, okay, so he said two quotes. One was about Lamar, the one you made, but that doesn't mean that he didn't say the quote that Nate said.
Okay. All right.
He said both things.
He did say both things. You're
So what
correct,
is your
Alex,
comment to what he said that Nate read?
that he should be the guy?
Yeah.
He should have had the ball in the red zone a lot more.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes. But you're admitting that both of those things came out of J.K. Dillman's mouth.
Yes, they did it.
That's what we're trying to get at here.
At varying times. You're absolutely right.
Yes. Yes. No, I'm with you there.
Now you are.
No, I was with you before. I was trying to tell you there were two. That's why my hand gestures were like this.
You weren't going raw.
If you're not on YouTube, my hand gesture was like this,
Going raw.
like Robert.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Well, live
That's
looking
karma
now.
getting you, Nate.
Cowboys
That's
and
karma.
Cowboys and
You
Buccaneers.
rat
Nate.
bastard.
How we doing, Nate?
Brady just threw a pick in the end zone.
Let's go, boys.
Now Nate knows how I feel all the time. You make one jab at Jim and instantly against your team for the rest of his life.
But no, this is a good transition into what just happened because Sam, what just happened?
An interception.
How many is that on this weekend?
That would be number 11.
Sam, keeping a running tally.
So this is the new segment called Sports
All right, you're done.
Explanations with Sam.
Oh, okay, let's hear it.
Mhm. Yeah. So I learned what an interception was this weekend. Now I knew what an interception was, but we reviewed it a lot because it kept happening. So I'm gonna give everyone a little knowledge on what an interception is. Okay, so we have the white team and the blue team.
These are hypothetical
White
teams.
team
This is Jaguars Chargers, Jim.
Gotcha.
Or Bucks and Cowboys. in
or
this
Bucks and
situation.
Cowboys.
Oh, okay.
okay.
Yeah.
So the white team throws the ball and they start running. And then the blue team jumps and catches the ball and they steal it. And that's an interception because they got in the middle of the other white team person catching the ball.
White jersey team.
White jersey team.
Bingo.
The blue team got boop.
Yeah.
Nate also explained it as somebody, like the mailman is dropping the mail in my mailbox and somebody just grabs it before they can put it in. Also an interception.
I just like that there had to be so many explanations of the interception.
Yeah. The mailman
Listen.
dropping things in your box and somebody interferes with that.
Yeah.
Get it.
And Nate intercepts that and says that was inappropriate.
Listen, I had to give her some sort of shopping comparison in order for her to stick in her head.
That's true. The Amazon
Stealing.
package was about to be delivered, and someone.
And then
That
it was,
was not in my house.
but yes, there were 11 interceptions, including this one that just happened.
Well done, Sam.
All right.
Thank you.
I'm going to be interested in how Nate explains fumbles.
We've reviewed that, but not enough for me to explain it. So catch
Next
me.
week. Next week on.
I'll have a
Explanation
new
with Sam.
lesson with Sam.
Lesson was
Lessons with Sam.
Sam explains
Sports lessons with Sam.
Yeah, that's what we'll call it. It could be fun.
And this is why we can't hit 100 YouTube subscribers.
I don't know. I'm not sure if we can blame Sam entirely for that. Sam,
Mm,
Could be a
Sam
bachelor
brings
dicks.
what?
Nothing. Go ahead. Keep going.
That's what she said.
Well, sweet. So the playoff picture
Playoffs.
for next week in the playoffs. Saturday afternoon football at 4:30. We'll have the Jags at Kansas City taking on the Chiefs.
Have the lines open up for that yet?
Yes, Jim, they are out. And in the evening game on Saturday at 8:15, we have the Giants at Philadelphia taking on the Eagles.
That can be a sneaky good game.
Yeah.
That very much.
No, I don't think so. I think the Eagles roll.
Well, about to find out where Jim thinks about this when we get to the betting episode on Thursday.
Mhm.
I feel like we have an understanding of what Jim thinks. What line is too high for you, Jim, without looking at them?
10.
10 is too high.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Jim, live looking for bets of the games we just mentioned so far. Chiefs are 8.5-point favorites, and the Eagles are 7.5-point favorites.
Jim's hammering the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm probably hammering the Eagles.
Probably.
Here we go.
I mean, I gotta see
This
how bad
isn't
my
the-
losses
This
were.
isn't
Yeah,
the show where
probably.
we peer pressure Jim, Muff.
This is the show because he just said the too high would be 10 and it's 7.5. He's like, I'll probably do this. Probably.
Well,
Gotta
I
see.
can't hammer.
Gotta
Can I hammer
gotta
it now
see.
for the betting show? Because I want to
Okay.
grab the line now.
No, you can't hammer it for a betting show. I don't think it's going to jump 3 points in the next day or two, Jim.
Yeah, but maybe okay. All right, fine, Muff.
You can put in a bet yourself, but just won't be for the betting show.
Yeah, you're okay.
You
Let's
can
keep
put it
going.
in right now.
Really not
and-
a fan of you tonight.
In Sunday football, we're going to have the Bengals at Buffalo taking on the Bills in a 3 p.m. game, and the winner of the Bucks Cowboys at San Francisco taking on the 49ers.
Give me the Bengals and the 49ers.
So I can't stand how the NFL does these playoff time slots. Like, you usually do 1 o'clock and 4:15 or 4:30 or whatever. Why in the hell are we doing 3 and 6:30?
Yeah, it is stupid. I agree with that.
Yeah, it's I'm not sure. Doesn't make sense. So what's going on Sunday night? I mean, Yellowstone's not on right now.
Not
Sam,
the
are there
Royal
any
Rumble.
other big
The
things?
Royal Rumble, maybe.
Is the Royal Rumble this
Doubt
weekend?
that, but okay.
No, the Royal Rumble does distract from viewers.
Yeah, but for playoff football viewers, I would be more willing. I would
I
be.
mean,
I
they
would
do
be
this
more-
in the conference championship games too.
Are they?
Yeah.
So this is
This is just dumb.
I would be more willing to say that the Royal Rumble would change its time because it realized it was on with the.
well, they don't care anymore because the They're owned by a whole different country now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that too. More on that later.
More on that later. So that sums up the NFL. Any other NFL news as far as the games? Nate, we still in the same spot? 6-0, 7-0?
Yep, still 6-0. Cowboys are just past midfield.
Okay. So that wraps up the NFL breakdown for this week. It brings us into other interesting news in NFL related topics. This is all NFL related,
Basically, yeah, I was gonna say.
or football, mostly football related, but
We
we've
got some
other
basketball
things.
in there too.
Got some other things. First, the Raiders are said to be aggressively pursuing Tom Brady this offseason, which could possibly be a reunion between he and Josh McDaniels.
From their Patriots.
Does anybody see this going down? And if so, would it go well?
I know that if I was in the middle of a divorce, Las Vegas is the place I'd want to be.
I mean, I could see him going there with the connection with McDaniel, and they've got the weapons on offense with Jacobs if they re-sign him. Because I know they didn't pick up his option. You got Devontae Adams under contract. You got Darren Waller under contract. Hunter Renfro. So there's plenty of weapons for him there.
Here's my question. More than is it smart for Tom Brady, is it smart for the Raiders?
Okay.
In year 46, should you be spending money on Tom Brady or should you be focusing on the quarterback in the future?
I think they're focusing on wanting to win a championship. And the question is Tom Brady at that age?
Yeah, that's what yes.
That's the question. I don't have a good answer for you, Alex, but that is the question they have to answer themselves.
I don't know, maybe.
I think where he makes most sense for him if he doesn't return or retire is going to play for his hometown team in San Fran. That team's set up to win.
They're not going to do that, though.
They're not going to take him.
For 1 year.
Brock Purdy being Brock Purdy right now, and that ship sailed.
I don't know, maybe 1 year. I'm thinking that's of all the three teams I've seen that say they're going to make the big push are the Raiders. The Niners might be in there just because of its hometown team. And they said maybe Tennessee. He's not going to.
What if he goes back to New England?
I mean, I don't think they're in any shape to win right now.
Yeah.
I think Gronk would be more willing to come out of retirement for him in Vegas.
That's true. He clearly can't do it without him.
Yeah.
So was Gronk really the secret this whole time?
He wasn't the problem, that's for sure. He definitely was not the issue. In other NFL news, Ian Rappaport, aka Rap Sheet, reports that top contenders for the Broncos head coaching job are Sean Payton, Jim Harbaugh, and Dan Quinn.
Harbaugh just announced today, this evening.
It's Monday.
That he is sticking in Michigan. So he's out. But taking his place, Peyton Manning said he would be very interested in considering that job.
I do not see Peyton Manning getting that job after the failed experiment with Jeff Saturday. And Peyton Manning has too much else going on in life.
Leader of men.
Leader of men, Jeff Saturday did not lead men well. He led them to a top 3 pick. Peyton Manning's got too much else going on. Like, yeah, Eli can pick up the slack on there and they've got their own ventures, but I don't see Peyton getting away from that to come be a head coach and put in all of those hours just to potentially be out in a season or two. But we got to put a name out there and that one grabs headlines.
Yep.
Is anybody even going to acknowledge the fact that Dan Quinn is on this list?
No.
I feel like this is going to be one of those things where Dan Quinn ends up being the guy because he's like the least probable.
What about Staley?
Do you think they're going to bring him in?
I mean, why not?
I mean, that's the worst thing to do.
When he gets fired from San Diego.
Nah, they're not bringing him in there.
I think that's the point. Why would you take a coach that's not doing great somewhere? And
yeah, why would you take a coach that can't do anything with a quarterback who does play well and say, oh, hey, here you go, Russ Wilson. Here's a coach that screwed up Justin Herbert's career, early part of his career. How about he resurrects your career late in its stages? No. I don't think Russ Wilson's going to sign off on that one.
Oh, Russ.
I don't think it matters who you get in there right now. That team just hates Russ right now.
It's true. It's true. I think there's any number of people that could make that one work. Next, Peyton Hillis, former NFL running back and on the cover of Madden, I forget what year, has been taken off a ventilator and is on the road to recovery after rescuing a family member in a swimming/drowning accident.
Yeah, I feel like this is going to come off bad, and I don't mean it bad whatsoever at all. But I feel like that kind of took a side seat to the whole like Damar Hamlin thing happening when it did. But I'm pretty sure like his family was drowning. He like jumped in and risked his own life and drowned to save them.
Yeah, I thought I saw. They said his 2 kids were out there basically drowning, and he went out and saved them, and then he basically got pulled in by a current or something, and they
Yeah.
And
Good for him.
yes, this did get a side seat to the Damar Hamlin news. Obviously, for many reasons. One being, the one happened on a football field, and Peyton Hillis is a retired athlete. So, yes, how many other people in a situation like Peyton Hillis would have also had coverage about them? Probably not many.
Right? Oh, exactly. But to bring light to the situation, he did it.
He did. Cliff Kingsbury is in Thailand right now.
Yeah, he ran away.
He bought a one-way ticket after being ousted from the Cardinals' head coaching position. He's obviously been contacted by several other teams about interviews. His pay was guaranteed for 5 years from the Cardinals, and that check is going to hit every 2 weeks. What do we think?
My favorite part.
Go ahead, Alex.
My favorite part is the headline I got on my phone that said Cliff Kingsbury, you know what I'm saying? Flees to Thailand. like as though we're some like militant country that's gonna like beat him for having a bad football team.
I just want to know, how soon did he book this ticket? Like as soon as they were out of playoff contention, did he know they weren't going to make the playoffs early in the year? And he said, "All right, I'm buying this ticket now."
So when shit hits the fan, I can get the hell out.
He was ready to go, though. That's for sure. However it went down.
Well, hopefully he's a fan of The Hangover and doesn't end up in a Bangkok prison or in an elevator.
Do we think he's with Kanye because Kanye is also missing?
Maybe that's why he bought one-way ticket.
Britney Spears. I mean, they could all be together.
Is Britney Spears missing?
Yeah, Britney's missing. Kanye, apparently, they found him and he got married.
Yeah, I heard something about that.
All right.
Brittany's still missing, though.
All right, look, you're driving down the viewers again. Just stop talking.
I can't.
In the pop culture world, this is what's going on. And Cliff somehow has weaved his way into Sam's narrative about popular culture. Go ahead, Jim.
CJ Stroud, quarterback for Ohio State, declares today
on Monday for the NFL draft. Whatever, big deal. Here's why it matters to this show. There were rumors for 3 days that he was coming back to play at Ohio State on the back of a giant NIL deal. It was supposed to be in a historic situation where somebody was going to go to the draft but doesn't because they were talked out of it with an NIL deal. And this was supposed to be groundbreaking for NIL, yada, yada, yada. I ask you, the 3 Jagaloons. Did you just call Sam a Jagaloon?
I said 3 Jagaloons. There's 4
That is true. He did say 3 Jagaloons.
Take Ohio State out of it. Let's put Hooker from Tennessee in the situation. If he was supposed to go top 5 in the draft and gets talked out of it because he's going to make $1-2 million with an NIL, what do we think of that situation?
I think that's the first time that I think the NIL had done anything good. You get to see more like good college football.
I don't disagree with that.
Like that's my selfish opinion. Like I see where like we should be like, oh yeah, let them like they need to go eat in the NFL, but like
yeah, if there's any chance of me being a first round pick, or you said what, top 5?
Yeah.
I don't care what NIL you throw me. I'm gonna go get that bag in the NFL.
Muff Daddy.
Yeah, if I'm going to be even if I'm going to be a first or second round pick, I am jet setting to the NFL, especially when you're thinking of this as after a junior year. Now, if things change and like sophomores can declare, I think a sophomore should probably stick around and take that NIL to get one more year in the college game before they go on. As far as once you clear your junior year or your third year in college, whatever the verbiage is on how to make that get done, get to the NFL. You gotta start playing in the men's league and prepare yourself for a career. Not potentially dominate in college and risk injury. Because remember, if you get an injury in college, not like the NFL,
Right.
you can be cast aside very quickly and not even make it to a team.
Yep.
But what if
So-
you're making the same amount of money?
I don't think the NIL can make that much money.
And who's to say they can't pull it from you?
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Now,
the
I know
Wild
we're
West
talking
with
football,
NIL.
but now I know we're talking college football, but here's another spinoff from the NIL deal. Do you think the NIL is going to keep these premier college basketball players in college for more than one season?
I don't. And one thing I will say, I don't know enough about the G League and what they're making in the G League.
Yeah,
what
that's what I
they're
was
making,
say.
what they're making abroad, right? There's a lot of professional basketball opportunities, much more than NFL or football opportunities to play professionally. I think it's going to take a lot of money. The NIL for basketball, I mean, they've even talked about how that's going to impact high school players. Like that was one of the first sports, if you remember when NIL was coming to be, was high school basketball players and how is this going to impact them because they only have to spend 1 year in college. Or 1 year post high school. It doesn't have to be in a college either. Remember, you can go play professionally abroad and come to the NBA.
Well, I wanted to put this topic on here. I want to flirt with the NIL in the off season. There's a lot of things changing. NIL is affecting a lot of things, specifically in Ohio, specifically in Ohio State, but I think in the vast majority of sports. So anticipate a larger segment and conversation in NIL in the future weeks because I think we've gone through one season of it and I think they've started to figure out how to manipulate it. And I think it's getting a little dirty behind the scenes.
Oh, absolutely.
So I plan on talking about it further.
We all knew it would, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, Jim, next one's all you.
I don't know if it's a celebration. I don't know if it's a sigh of relief. But Big Ten commissioner, now former commissioner, Kevin Asshat Warren, is now the new president and CEO of the Chicago Bears.
Are you glad he's out?
We'll get to that in a second. Conversation was the way he handled the talks of expansion after the USC expansion, the way he wanted to add more teams, the way he was running his mouth had pissed off members of the Big Ten. So him jockeying for more money out of the Big Ten was off the board. And this was his only chance to make more dollars was to actually leave the Big Ten. Am I happy? Depends on who we get in place, right? I put Muff up there as the next commissioner for the Big Ten.
I do not think I fit the criterion to fulfill that role.
You did better than you can do better than Kevin.
Well, the devil you know is always better than the devil you don't know. Just
That's
remember
true.
that. Always remember that. Kevin Warren, we'll see. I mean, has done some good things for the Big Ten. I mean, there have been some glaring concerns, issues.
He did the expansion. What else you gonna give him? In all honesty, what else would you give him?
He got the Big Ten through COVID. Oh,
Barely.
go ahead, Jim. Give somebody else credit for it. Go ahead.
I mean,
Give an
think
Ohio
you're
State
right.
person credit. Give an Ohio State person
No,
credit. I'm waiting for it.
No. I'm gonna let that be, but he was also one that like that's why he got his name was an asshat because he was trying to cancel our season.
So an Ohio
Remember?
State an Ohio State person saved the season.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, you
Don't
did
put words
then.
in my mouth.
You did then. You did then.
I mean,
okay. As long as we're clear that if I went into the archives, I could find that.
you could. Gene Smith is rumored to be one of the candidates for the Big Ten commissioner. A lot of people in Columbus are happy about that. I am not one.
Why is that?
I think he's more valuable at Ohio State than the Big Ten.
I think obviously with expansion in play, at this point, you're just looking for somebody to manage like the other big things in college football, NIL. Like you're trying to get somebody who's going to advocate and lobby and legislate well for that whole spiel when you're thinking of the college football world. The Big Ten as a conference is competitive in many sports.
I like to think of the Big Ten as one of the voices of sanity inside of collegiate sports. And we need somebody in there who's sane.
You think the Big Ten is the sanity?
Yeah, I do. Sorry. And I'll argue with that a lot, but yes.
Why? I
I
feel like
think
you have to be able to back that up.
I think the way they handled COVID, while as a fan I objected, their first priority was looking out for the students. I think the SEC was definitely sure as hell not. I think the Pac-12 was too conservative. And what's the Big 12's claim to fame? I know this is where you're going to go with it.
No, I really wasn't. I just wanted to know what your thought process behind saying that they're the sanity of the. I don't think anyone. I don't believe that any one conference is sanity.
I think their voices inside of the Big Ten are also student centered when it comes to the NIL. I think they're trying to get in front of it.
So Kevin Warren was trying to get in front of it.
No, I said voices inside the Big Ten.
So Big Ten commissioner, I'm sorry, but if you are going to say that they are the voice of reason, you have to be behind the Big Ten commissioner.
Listen, a bunch of people can try to do good inside of the system with a bad leader.
Okay.
We've all been there, motherfuckers. So don't start with me.
I think I'm just going to agree to disagree.
With a crowd of 68,323 fans, the Spurs broke the NBA single game attendance record on Friday night against the Golden State Warriors. The increased attendance came thanks to a special game played the team's former home at the Alamo Dome as part of a celebration of its 50th anniversary. And how about some of the worst seating to watch a basketball game?
Right? The one before this was played in the Georgia Dome.
Sounds right.
And like I've seen the Georgia Dome for live events on top. Like I get football inside of the Georgia Dome, but I've seen footage of like wrestling and boxing matches in the Georgia Dome. That looks horrible.
I would say even a basketball arena from the cheap seats is not like the best view.
Yeah.
So when you're in a giant place like that,
it's awful.
You know what? Tonight's the night when I'm throwing caution to the wind. I've sat in the Schottenstein Center at the tippy top in Columbus to watch an Ohio State game. I don't know what the hell I'm watching. Like, I really don't.
Is that just because you don't know anything about basketball, or?
I mean, that's partly.
That
but
aside.
like, people on that aside, like the watching basketball doesn't make a lot of sense from up high. It's hard.
It is. I've also watched a basketball game. I watched a professional basketball game in Cleveland, at the old Gund Arena, from some of those cheap seats. So interesting.
Yeah.
And lastly, and other interesting news in sports, WWE.
You do an extra W, but
I was going to say how many W's?
WWE may be sold to a Saudi Arabian investor group.
So I'll give the brief synopsis. Vince McMahon, owner, primary shareholder of WWE, was kicked off and exiled away from WWE for basically spending lots of money covering up the fact he had sexual relations with staff members. Well, old Vince was sitting at home, did not like the fact he got kicked off, exercised his majority shareholder power, kicked off 3 board members, brought in his own 3 board members, and himself, regained power of the company. And he did it under the guise of, I'm getting the company ready for a TV rights negotiation and maybe, wink, wink, selling the company. I will have nothing to do with the day-to-day product. I will have nothing to do with the creative process. Life will go on. I'm here to better position the company for the future. Okay, about 3 days later, and he said, I'm not changing the people in charge. About 3 days later, his daughter resigns. And very quickly, about an hour later, rumors started to spread that the WWE was going to be sold to a Saudi Arabian investor group. So I believe he's back trying to get his paper.
Where's Triple H come in? He's out. Is he out?
He is not. He is still head of creative. He's the guy
Okay.
putting the stuff on the screen. There's also rumors that Shad and Tony Khan may buy the WWE Jaguars owner.
They're already involved with NXT?
AEW.
AEW. Sorry.
Yeah. So
The rival, correct?
yes.
The most direct rival.
Correct.
Hmm.
This is more news that
Is this a work, Jim? Is this a work?
no. This is
This
no.
is shoot. This is shoot.
This is shoot. This is shoot. If they sell the company to a Saudi Arabian, it's not good.
Oh, but I thought live golf was a good thing for the sport of golf. Would this not be good for professional wrestling?
It wouldn't be good for a lot of things.
Remember that next time that you support live golf, Jim. Remember that.
You don't. Okay. I believe the fan base of golf and the fan base of pro wrestling is a tidbit different.
Maybe, Jim. Maybe. All right.
I don't know what you're talking about. I think they're the exact same people.
I mean, that's like saying you and I are different people, Jim. Case in point. Game set match.
We are a group of people who happen to like things. But there are other people who like their pro wrestling. And the fact that WWE goes to visit the troops every year, being owned by Saudis, gonna be a problem.
I think Jim just said something about golf that I don't know if I agree with. And that wraps up this week's NFL breakdown and other interesting news in sports.
This is not massive.
Yoo-lee-hoo.
Wee-hoo.
There
Bingo.
we go, Nate. There
Bingo.
we go, Nate.
Finally, we got
Alright.
some sound effects at the Nate.
All right, so this is the top 5 favorite Super Bowl moments of the group.
Super.
I'm gonna let Alex go. I'm gonna let Alex go first.
All right. I will start 5-1. Nipples. I think we all know about that. I was just young enough that it was so exciting.
It's called Nipplegate.
Nipplegate. But
Go ahead.
nipples. I was just young enough. It was so exciting to see boobs. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, the next one would be Shakira shaking it at the halftime
this is where
show.
we're gonna go.
And this is funny because my uncle pointed out that we were all like hanging out, like whatever, and all of a sudden you look over and like all the women have walked away and are like talking and like socializing, and me and like all my young cousins and young brothers are sitting in front of the TV like slack jawed, just like watching Shakira shake it. And he's like, yep, look at him.
Was Shakira in 2 Super Bowls? Or
Probably,
she-
yeah. I'm
one?
thinking the one that she was just
I just
in
think the
2020.
shake makes you see double.
So the J-Lo Shakira.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I was
that
thinking.
was that. I don't know if she was another one. I think they.
Well, I can't remember a lot of things, but by God, he has that down.
Listen, it's hard to forget that.
No,
Number
it's-
3 for me was Saints winning after Hurricane Katrina. Saints
Touching.
Super Bowl.
Touching moment. I'm glad
Touching
you.
moment.
I'm glad you've come out of the
Right.
the
Oh,
gutter.
yeah,
the gutter.
That's why I got those ones out, so I didn't seem like a total the David Tyree catch on the back of his helmet for the Giants, and Super Bowl 53 in general, with the catch with Santonio Holmes and James Harrison's fumble return. That was like the Super Bowl that obviously sticks in my mind the most as a Steelers fan, and just for the sheer excitement of it. Nice.
I'm gonna go next. Nipplegate for me. Santonio Holmes. Super Bowl XL what Super Bowl is that, Muff?
42.
42.
Did you like how I didn't even try? I just
Yeah. The Giants won me money for that was my first ever real life on my own bet.
Was that against your father?
No. I found a bookie. I put in $100. I won money. That was my first ever. I won $100.
Oh,
It was a good time.
You found even money, huh?
Yeah, it was good stuff. Good stuff. Super Bowl 41. It's Prince's Super Bowl halftime show. And then Super Bowl 32, when Elway gets his Super Bowl win. Not because I'm a Broncos fan, but I've always been a fan of like seeing things happen that I never thought in life would happen. Like the Red Sox and the Cubs winning the
yeah.
World Series.
Yeah.
Never thought Elway would win. So to see him win and go airborne to do it, I was like, oh, I get that off the bucket list. I got to see something I never thought would happen.
That's fair.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to Nate.
Do you need to go?
No.
No.
I was not told, so I didn't have time to prepare.
Okay. You acted like you had a list top 5.
Oh, well, when you guys were making noises, I wanted to say, oh, mighty sound effects lady. Like from The Price is Right.
Well,
I really need to get an office. Anyway. So I have an honorable mention because I wanted to throw it in there. So my honorable mention was from whatever Super Bowl it was. And I had to look up the guys' names. I had no freaking idea. When the Buffalo player stripped Leon Lett showboating going into the end zone and resulted in a safety.
Yeah.
That should have told kids when they're on and out, you run through the goal line, you don't pull up.
and then you can showboat.
Yeah. Once you get past the goal line, yeah, then you drop the ball, Deshaun. Anyway, number 5 for me was the James Harrison pick 6 because again, it's a Super Bowl. It's a 100-yard return. And all I can remember seeing is him on the sideline just hitting the oxygen. And
Yes.
and again, it's like, how in the world did he not get tackled? It's not like he's a force to be reckoned with speed-wise. So, and then for me, number 4 was the comeback from 28-3. I don't think we'll ever see something like that again in Super Bowl.
In Super Bowl.
Yeah. Number 3, I'm surprised Alex didn't have this. The Devin Hester opening kickoff return for a touchdown.
Yeah.
Bears versus Colts.
That was exciting.
I mean, that just cemented the legacy of Devin Hester.
Yeah. I think for me, the only problem was I was rooting for the Colts in that one.
Mm-hmm.
So it was less than exciting. I was a big Peyton Manning fan.
And then for me, of course, being the Bucs fan, even though they're getting their dicks buried right now.
Hey.
Number 2 was the upset win over Kansas City. To hold that offense to not a single touchdown in that game, to be the first team ever to win the Super Bowl on their home field. That was just special in a night of its own. And then number 1 was Tampa's first Super Bowl. I remember how bad they used to be and just how exciting it was that, holy crap, the team we actually liked won and did something for once. And actually being able to go to a regular season game in Tampa that same year during the
Oh,
Super Bowl.
nice.
That was Sean King, right?
No, that was Brad Johnson.
That's Brad Johnson, yeah.
Now known as Trick Shot Brad.
Muff Daddy, you're up.
All right. We got 28-3, Patriots, Falcons. I did this list. I didn't try to do any research. I was just thinking of what came to my mind first. Next is when the lights go down in Super Bowl 47, 49ers, Ravens. I think that's just a Super Bowl moment, right? And how that changed the game, at least at face value, that Ravens came back and won. Joe Flacco can win in the Super Bowl after the lights go down, but cannot find a way to beat the Dolphins and their third string quarterback. Neither here nor there. Next, just run the damn ball. Russ Wilson's interception against the Patriots. to me, just an iconic moment. As a fan of the television show The League, they called attention to that in their opener, their season opener in the next season, which was, to me, it was just funny that they took that. Next is a commercial moment for me. The first time the "What's up" Bud Light commercials happened. It's not a Super Bowl, but it is Super Bowl related. I think
I'll allow it.
the commercials are part of the reason I watch Super Bowl.
Yep.
And not as much anymore, because I don't think the quality is as much as good. But at the time, right, that was how we saw the new commercials.
Oh yeah.
Well, you didn't get that like preview where you had seen some of them or at least knew what was
Yeah.
coming.
Right.
It was all fresh, and
You
exciting.
had to watch.
Yeah.
And last on my list, or at least the last one to be stated, is the James Harrison return touchdown against the Cardinals.
The 28-3 game, Muff, I think I watched with you. It was in the lobby.
I believe we did
The
watch that
lobby.
game. In the lobby.
All right. So next week on the Mount Massive, we're going to do top five snacks to have at a Super Bowl party.
Oh, can I play in this one?
Yes, you can.
Sure.
Okay.
The peasants rejoiced. Yeah.
And that is Mount Massive.
You're like, hee-hoo.
This is Would You Rather.
Didn't you
I'm
have
not
like
gonna-
a lead? Didn't you have a lead in, Alex? Like, would you rather eat dirt or
Yeah. Would you rather
lick salt off your big toe? Like,
lick a dog poo or lick
All
a cat
right.
poo?
All right, you weirdo. So this week's Would You Rather, we're going to start with in honor of the asshat, Kevin. We're going to ask the group, would you rather be the Big Ten commissioner, the Pac-12 commissioner, or the Big 12 commissioner? I want to be the Big Ten commissioner. Muff?
No shit.
I'm gonna take the Big 12 because I'm all about a rebuild.
All right. Nate?
Give me the Pac-12 just because they're more. I don't want to say more involved. Is not what I want to say, but I'd say more dynamic in the other sports outside of the big one in football.
Ooh, that's good logic.
See, I was going to say Big 12 for the reason that they're decent in football and they're pretty good in basketball.
I think Nate's saying outside of those major sports.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean you've got.
Like-
I mean, one that pops up to me, and I know Jim was talking about it yesterday, but like college softball, Pac-12. I mean, you look at the Washington World, you look at Oregon. I mean, you got all that West Coast baseball. The only thing
WVU's
they really don't have out there, like other spring sport, is lacrosse, which I watched my cousins play last year, and that's just a wicked sport.
Wicked. It was wicked nice.
WVU wins rifle a lot.
All right. Moving on.
Oh, we can't talk about that.
Oh, we just did. You just
win
did.
rifle.
Good job.
Congratulations. Would you rather? I'm gonna make you order these ones. 1, 2, and 3. Would you rather coach the Texans, the Chargers, or the Broncos? Give me your in order. Which one would you rather do?
Chargers, Texans, Broncos.
Chargers,
Nate.
Broncos, Texans.
Broncos, Chargers, Texans. Because I feel like the Broncos has some cool history. Like, and nothing's to say I can't like change the whole,
I'm gonna
shebang.
go Texans, Broncos, Chargers.
Why do you want the Texans?
Because they're new, and I just want to rival Jerry. Like I want to build the Texans up.
Okay, so head coach, you're not going to rival Jerry.
Yeah, but I want to try. I want to be the team in Texas.
You're not
The
competing. I just don't think you compete against Jerry. I think that's the
Listen,
problem.
I can freaking dream, Muff. Don't try to shit on my dreams. And then I want to be able to. I want the Broncos because, like, I work with Elway.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
The Chargers, they're gonna fire me anyway, all the time. Like,
Not if
that's
you
a
do
death
good.
sentence.
Not if you do good.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
just
ask
no one ever
Martin
does good there.
Schottenheimer. They got rid of him too. I don't want anything to do with Chargers. All right.
It's Jim's favorite team. He wants nothing to do with them.
Nothing. Shows him my kind of weekend. All right. Given CJ Stroud and many others' announcements for the draft, how would you announce your entry into the NFL draft, Alex?
I'd probably just say it. I mean, I get kind of annoyed sometimes when things are bigger deals than they need to be.
Okay. Nate?
I'm with Alex on this one. It's just like gender reveals to me. It's just so over the freaking top. Like, yeah, we know you're going to the draft. Yeah, we know you're having a baby. Why do you need to say, oh my God, it's a boy. Oh my God, it's a girl? Well, I always have to joke around with people and say, did you ask about its gender first? Maybe he doesn't identify as that.
Not yet. He hasn't decided.
Yeah, it hasn't decided yet.
Ugh.
Well,
Muff.
I'm gonna say I would just submit the necessary paperwork. I think
See,
that's step one. I'm not saying I would not.
I love that Muff says submit the necessary paperwork.
That's
first.
a Muff answer, right?
That was a very
like
Muff
you have
answer.
to do that. That is a necessary part of that process. You have to inform all of the right people.
Why do you?
before
You're
even-
such an effing rule follower.
Before you reveal the fact that you're doing it, everyone else already knows. Not everyone, but everyone that needs to know in the NFL already knows. That's the only people that need to know for me: the owners, the GMs, and the coaches.
I'm going to do it in the most fanfare, TikTok,
I'm not surprised, to be honest. If one of us is going to do that,
fireworks
it's you.
laden extravaganza.
Because
Because there's the only time I'm going to get that kind of a spotlight, unless I'm super duper good.
So do you plan on being bad?
you plan on like not getting drafted.
Peanut Gallery wants to chime in.
Yes, Sam.
I'm with you on the TikTok.
I'm going to go huge.
Go big or go home.
I'm talking strippers.
Fireworks.
Wait, your
$4
reveal is going to include strippers.
Strippers.
I agree with Jim on that one. I would have strippers.
You cannot have you cannot record this.
I didn't say we're going to be naked.
What else would a stripper be doing? What are they stripping?
They'll be dancing on the pole.
Sounds like pole
No.
dancers.
Close.
It'd be like whenever you announce your college where you're going to go. You're going to get the strippers and they're going to go, he's not going to Michigan.
For those of you on the podcast, you need to see exactly what they did. And that's why you should subscribe to the show. That was brilliant.
Now subscribe to YouTube and maybe you'll see some more funny shit.
All right. The next, would you rather? Bengals left tackle Jonah Williams is week to week with a dislocated kneecap.
Ugh.
I ask, would you rather dislocate your kneecap, dislocate your shoulder, dislocate your ankle? I can tell you this. I would rather dislocate my shoulder than anything else because I've gone through it. It's a pain in the ass, but I'm taking the shoulder.
Kneecap, shoulder, ankle.
Yeah.
That's my
Yeah.
three. That's my
Whatever
order.
the medical degenerate says is going to be the less painful one.
You said kneecap, shoulder, ankle?
Yes.
Why?
Because a kneecap's little and it's literally a little tiny thing attached to tendons. You just slide it back over and pop it back in place. And the shoulder, a lot of people do it. But your ankle, if you dislocate your ankle, you have effed up. Like you have made an error. Like there are a lot of pieces that go into that.
We need
Like,
that.
I
on
went by
Muff.
number of pieces. So your patella is held on by your patellar tendon and your quadriceps tendon above and below. So to dislocate it, pops over the side, you pop it back where it's got to be. Your
Yeah,
shoulder,
but-
you have like
ugh.
4 muscles that really hold it in place. You pop it out, you pop them back in. That ankle goes, oh, buddy. I have seen a dislocated ankle, and there's a good chance your foot's going to die.
I don't know. I've seen a kid and we were like 10 dislocate his hip in a scrimmage.
Yeah, that's a lot of freaking force for someone who's not like 92.
I've had a lot of ankle injuries, and I think that would definitely be my least favorite one.
Ugh.
Yeah, shoulder's number one for me.
Remind me never to have would you rather with Alex and medical issues. I now want to throw up. Good God.
Slam
You've
ball.
done-
Slam
You've
ball. I
done
think-
messed up, Aaron.
Slam ball is like dislocated ankles, right? The old school slam ball on the trampolines.
Yeah.
That happened. I think that happened.
All right, well, I'm done with Would You Rather for a while. Good grief.
Jim is done with Would You Rather for a while, and we are done with this episode of Sports Stuff with Jim and Muff. As a reminder, make sure that you subscribe, comment, rate, review, lick, tickle, poke,
Hug.
share.
Dislocate your ankles.
Ugh.
Don't do those things.
Do not do that one.
Can't come back from that one.
That was a text.
At Sports Jim Muff on Instagram and Twitter, sportsstuffw/Jim, Ampersand Muff on Facebook, on YouTube. Remember, on Thursday, we'll have our betting episode coming out. Less and less games to get involved in the degenerate behavior, but we will still do our thing on that.
What, we got like 2 more episodes of the betting show?
Yeah, man.
3 more episodes.
3 with the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or two plus the Super Bowl. So get in while the getting's good. Remember to tail us all the way to Victory Town. And as always, tell a friend, make a friend.
Be a friend.
Be
Right.
a friend.
Be a friend.